Today we're going to digitize a heart that's got some shading in there so that you can see how to do a couple of different things in Embird Studio. So let's go into Embird Studio. My heart or my hoop size is for the 4x4 hoop. I'm going to import an image. This is from some software or clip art that I purchased strictly for digitizing. So we're going to say yes, we want the image to scale to fit the hoop. We're going to select the fill, and we're just going to go ahead and kind of digitize uh, the bigger color right now. And on this portion down here where the darker pink is, we're actually going to make sure that that overlaps a little bit, because we want to make sure that with any push-pull compensation that's going on there, that everything does stitch out and that there's not a gap there. It's not a very large overlap, but it is a small overlap, probably a millimeter or so. So we'll just go ahead and finish this one off real quick. I'm going to make some changes to the underlay the way I like to do it. And I'm going to change the angle of this, say to minus 10. And I'm going to generate the stitches. Right now I'm going to say color, and I'm going to pick a color from an image that's going to get me close to something that's in a thread chart, and then I'll pick a color from a catalog. This comes up with coral, so we will go ahead and use this coral. Now the next thing I want to do is we're going to digitize this little shaded area right over here, so we will just go ahead and quickly digitize this. It doesn't have to be, exactly the way that the clip art is, but we purchased it for a reason, so let's kind of make it semi-close. We will do this. I'm going to also go ahead and make the changes that I like for my fills, and we'll generate the stitches. We're going to select the color from an image here, and it's going to change it a little bit. Then we're going to actually go into the catalog and select a different one. So I'm going to do maybe Misty Pink and see how that looks. It looks alright. I'm also going to put a little bit of an angle on this and see. I like the way that looks pretty good. The next thing that we want to do is when this stitches out, if it were to stitch out over this background right now, it would have the underlay as well as this stitching, and it would make it kind of thick. So we want to cut a hole in this so that we can make sure that when it does stitch, that this will just be stitching on your fabric. So how you do that is you select your background image, the one that you want to, or the background object, the one that you want to cut the hole in, and come over here and use this little kind of like knife tool, and you're just going to digitize around. You are going to leave that small overlay just to make sure that everything does get covered and that there's no gaps in here. Again, probably a millimeter or so should be sufficient to get it done. And when you generate your stitches, then if you look, and I just hid this one, if you look, there's a hole in there now. So we can go in and see how this is. Now, because I cut the hole, it has these weird kind of lines in there, and what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and make this a fill too, which is kind of more a little bit random in there, and then I'm going to edit this. I'm going to put a fill a node here. So what I'm going to do is do an insert, That's going to give me a node point, and I'm going to put my start point here, and then I'm going to select this one right here, right click again. I'm going to do an insert, which makes that a node, and I'm going to put my end point there. And let's generate the stitches and see how that looks. It's a little better. I think I can live with it. We'll go ahead, we'll change the angle a little bit more and see how that looks. It looks a little better with this, so we'll go with that. Now we're going to go ahead and digitize this bottom side. So we start and we just go along the actual color here, and we'll make sure that we still have this little overlap from the original color. And we'll come on down. And get it fairly close. Finish my object. Color from the image. We're going to then go from the catalog, and I'm going to select a rose leaf instead of that light mulberry color. Let's look at the parameters. I'm going to do my underlay the way I like to. Generate my stitches, and there you have a little heart that you just digitized. We're going to save this as a shaded heart, 4x4, and then we're going to actually compile it and put it into Embird. And when you do this thing, if you sell embroidery designs in Embird, you can select all of the formats that you sell that you want to output all at once, and it'll save them all at the same time. And if you go and look at this directory, now all of them are out there. Okay? Hope you learned something new today, and we will talk to you later. Bye.